Welcome back in our spotlight. President Biden launching a nationwide effort to mobilize black voters ahead of the November election. He held a rally today alongside Vice President Kamala Harris in his home state of Pennsylvania, as you know, a key battleground state. Biden mentioning the importance of the black vote and his outreach program to shore up support from the crucial voting demographic.
Because black Americans voted, Kamala and I are President and Vice President of the United States because of you. That's not hyperbole. Because you voted, Donald Trump is defeated former president. And with your vote in 2024, we're going to make Donald Trump a loser again.
Well, a recent ABC News Ipsos poll found that Biden's support among black voters is down by double digits from 2020, with 74% saying they currently back the president compared to 87% who said they voted for him in the last election. I want to bring back my panel here, Heidi, Ramesh, and Mike, along with ABC News contributor and Los Angeles Times op-ed columnist LZ Granderson. So, LZ, let's start here with you. As you know, Biden credited black voters for getting him into the White House in 2020, and clearly those votes are down. His support is down as well. What do you think he needs to do to regain the confidence of black voters?
Well, first of all, every president in the last 50 years that have gotten to the White House anyway, that was a Democrat, should make the same, statement that black people helped got them in. Black people have been, mostly behind Democrats for a long time now. And so this conversation about erosion of black support, I find that some of what's been talked about is really based on the fact that we are in a May-April conversation, when in November, when this really gets down to the binary choice, I think you're going to see the same things you've been seeing for the last 50 years, which is the black community choosing a president who has their best interest at heart. The conversations that are started by some black personalities that have large platforms, like Stephen A. Smith, like Charlamagne the God, who have had more controversy because they haven't flat out said they support President Trump or President Biden, rather.
Right.
I think the conversations that they're having are important conversations, but it's more important that these individuals are informed on the issues and actually are giving credit to the right people and aren't just going along with things that's going to make them controversial or popular on social media.
Right, and Charlamagne the God has really highlighted the concern over voter apathy heading into November if the real policy issues aren't addressed between now and then. And Heidi, to you, the Biden-Harris administration says it will kick off this program with an 8-figure investment this summer. You're a former lawmaker. Do you think an outreach program will be effective enough to shore up support right now?
I think that one of the things that happened 4 years ago was the fear. We had seen what Donald Trump for African Americans, and for a lot of Americans deeply concerned about Donald Trump. We're now 4 years away from that. And the question is, can you motivate people to turn out again? I think that you cannot do it on identity politics. You actually have to talk about deliverables. It's not enough to say Kamala Harris is an African-American woman, and therefore you should be proud of our administration. They've got to deliver real results.
Absolutely. And on those deliverables, Ramesh, does this put additional pressure now on the Republican Party?
I think it's an opportunity for Republicans. I think everybody who looks at this data understands that black voters are going to, by and large, back Biden over Trump, and the margin really matters. The Democrats really have to run up that score. They are having trouble with black and white and Hispanic voters, too, who are relatively disengaged from the political process. The regular voters who come out every election and vote, they're still staying with Biden, but those disengaged voters, he needs to get them, and they're disengaged. They're a little negative about the economy. Again, that's something that's true of black voters, it's true of white voters, true of Hispanic voters. That's his weakness.
Absolutely. And so, Mike, I'd love for you to elaborate that here. Do you think both Democrats and Republicans here might be missing the mark when it comes to the black voting demographic?
Yes, Kana, absolutely. This is one of my favorite topics to discuss. And I can't believe I'm about to say something that could unite the Democratic and Republican Party. But there is a misnomer in the outreach to black Americans, in particular how they identify, particularly when it comes to black men. Republicans, and we've heard former President Trump say that he believes that black people are having a kinship to him because of criminal justice and how he's being fairly in the criminal justice system. Just as much at the same time, you hear Democrats, when they talk about black men in particular, there's always around some type of criminal justice reform. Those two things alone just show the misstep that both parties have when looking at black people and black men specifically. What we want is actually what Heidi was just talking about, is more deliverable and action items. We want individuals to look at us more from a holistic point of view, from issue specific. Yes, the data suggests that black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party, but what I see, Kana, for the Republicans and Democrats is there an opportunity to grow their base among black men. Just as much as we look at the women demographic when it comes to reproductive rights, when it comes to equal pay, when it comes to child care assistance and provisions, we need to be looking at the holistic version of the black man as well. And Kana, in 2024, I can't believe that both parties are still doing that stale old retail politics of going to black churches, black barbershops, and HBCUs. Black people exist out of those three pillars. There are black people that go to non-HBCUs and predominantly white campuses who are equally and actively engaged in our democratic system and process. And so we need to look at more the holistic viewpoint, and both parties are missing that mark. They're not looking at nuance, and they're being very lazy. And Kana, this is all on the margins in these battleground states. You can't even lose by a small percentage. And when I hear callers every day on my radio show, there is a hesitation for both parties. There's a frustration of both parties. Neither one can afford to lose even 1 to 2% margins of the black base.
Absolutely. And when you talk about the men, the black men here, we're also not seeing them do anything about addressing the generational gap that our polls are showing and how those voters feel as well. All right, LZ, Heidi, Ramesh, and Mike, thank you so much for your time.